everyone. It's Sarah with KCCI, and today we're with Tony from Wright Roofing and Siding to have an important chat about storm damage to commercial flat roofs. Thank you so much for joining us, Tony.
Absolutely, Sarah. Yeah, thanks for having me here. I know spring and early summer can be a kind of a treacherous time, weather-related, and can wreak havoc on some of the commercial and flat roofs that we have so much of in the Des Moines area.
Absolutely. So many people think that hail is the culprit when it comes to storm damage to commercial flat roofs, but I hear strong winds, heavy rain could actually cause more issues in Iowa. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. Sometimes with those flat roofs and the way they're built more to absorb that kind of a blow from, say, hailstone, and more so the risk is the wind damage and wind-driven rain, which can lift up the membrane of the edge of the membrane, as well as tear off some of the flashings and things like that.
Oh gosh,
Yep.
yeah.
And that actually, in addition to that, the wind-driven rain can then force water into areas that are, it's not meant to go, and so it can cause further damage that way.
Okay, so what are some signs then to look for on a commercial flat roof?
Yeah, that's a great question because it's not necessarily obvious from the ground level, like on a sloped roof. And so, some of the things you may want to look for is debris in the parking lot. Maybe your edge metal on the perimeter of your roof doesn't look right. Okay. If you are able to get up on your roof, sometimes any penetration such as air conditioning units, things like that, can be shifted. That can also be a red flag that you've got some wind damage going on.
Okay, so let's say we suspect, storm damage. Mm-hmm. What should a facility manager or property owner do in that situation?
Yeah, well, definitely being familiar with taking a step back, being familiar with your roofing system is important. Okay. So we recommend, getting on that roof at least a couple times a year just to know what right looks like. And then from there, if you're up there after a storm, which is a good idea, and you have any suspicion of any problems, definitely give a reputable roofing company a call to do an inspection. And then that way we can help determine, hey, is this something that, we can do a repair on? Does it need a new roof? Do we need to do an insurance claim, et cetera, et cetera?
Okay, so you mentioned insurance.
Yes.
When is the right time to get insurance involved?
Another great question. So a lot of times we think immediately, hey, we're going to code level 10, let's call insurance. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes that's a good decision, but not always the best decision. Escalation of force, as we used to say in the Army, hey, maybe a better idea is to have somebody out there, a subject matter expert, to take a look and see, does this rise to the level of submitting a claim? Is it worth paying the deductible? Because oftentimes we'll find that, hey, getting that roofing repair done is cheaper than paying the deductible or submitting a claim.
Well, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yes. So let's combat a myth here.
Okay.
Mythbusters. My warranty covers all storm damage.
Yes.
How can you clear that one up?
Yeah. So warranties are very important. Anything construction-wise, because it's a lot of costs involved, especially when we get into the commercial roofing side of things. It's quite an investment, and so warranties often don't cover acts of God, or damage caused by somebody else. Okay. What they do cover is kind of a little bit of a caveat to that is wind damage. It will actually cover wind damage, okay. And so. Knowing the difference between what's wind damage and what isn't is important. And you can always call whoever did your roof, whoever submitted the warranty, the company, things like that, for if you need a little bit more guidance to determine what exactly is covered and what isn't.
So what makes Wright Roofing the right partner after a storm for an inspection?
Yeah. Well, I would say this, Wright Roofing has been in business nearly 3 decades, doing business, treating customers right, getting the job done. We look at these as opportunities to engage with the customer. We look at it as an enduring relationship where we can partner with that individual or business that needs their commercial needs met.
Excellent. So what's the biggest advice that you can give a property owner this time of year?
Yeah, I would say keep an eye on that roof. You know, those semi-annual inspections are very important. You know, if a storm does come up, definitely take a look afterwards. Take a look at your yard, take a look at your parking lot, see if there's any debris. If you're able to get up on your roof, and like we mentioned earlier, taking a look at the edges of the membrane, is there any wind damage or any of the seams loose, things like that, to determine, hey, if I have an issue, certainly give us a call at Wright Roofing, and we would love to help walk you through the process, give you the information you need so you can make a properly informed decision that suits you best.
So there you have it. Strong winds and heavy rain can quietly wreak havoc on your commercial flat roof. So don't wait for disaster. Call Wright Roofing and Siding for peace of mind.